So dear Premies, first and foremost, I would like to wish you all a very happy new year. And a new year signifies new beginnings in life, new opportunities, new hopes and new dreams. And many people in their hearts wait for the new year to come to bring about a certain change in their life, which people put as New Year resolution. That when the year comes to an end, we think about how the year has passed, about our mistakes, about our regrets, about certain things that we shouldn't have done. And with the beginning of the new year, we feel that we'll make certain changes in our lives. But there's this very good friend of mine, he has a very unique perspective of life itself. In school, we were together for 11 years in boarding school. Then slowly everyone in life moves in their different directions, wherever life leads them. And whenever I get a chance to speak to him, because it's not that we can meet every day, but in every few months we do speak to each other on the phone, and every time I ask him, how is everything going and is everything okay? Every time he just has this one reply, he's like, everything is okay. The same old problem, but just a new day. I mean, we talk about new changes, but does really something actually changes in our life? That's something that we must ponder on. Because if I'm suffering today, tomorrow New Year will come, day after it will be the beginning of a new year, but my problem will still remain the same. If I'm suffering today, I will suffer tomorrow. It's not that the coming of the new year will just remove all my problems and make me a free person. So the question that one must ask is, why do we human beings suffer? Because if we see, the world is such a beautiful place. The human being has such beautiful potential in mind and in spirit to do so many wonderful things. But when we see the reality of this world, the reality paints a very different picture. Every person in this world, irrespective of what country he belongs to, what belief system he follows, what society he belongs to, what profession he has, I believe that everyone suffers in some way or the other. Some people suffer mentally, some people suffer physically. Some people do not suffer because they have problems in their lives. Some people suffer because other people have problems in their lives. Or sometimes we suffer because someone very dear to us or near to us is suffering. So if you get down of making a list, the list can never end about human suffering. But the question is, why do we suffer when there is such a beautiful world, when the potential for us is always there to change, be good, be pure in spirit? All these things are there, and all these things we understand also. But irrespective of everything, we still suffer. So our sages, who are, I think so, masters of the mind and the spirit, actually analyzed their lives. They investigated their lives. And then they reached to certain conclusion, which no matter we live different lives, we walk different paths, but the conclusion, the answers they reached to were common to all of us. Because no matter suffering is great or small at any given point of time in our life, suffering is suffering. So the reason why we suffer, our sages said, like the biggest reason of suffering is ajnanta, is ignorance. Ignorance of what? ignorance of our own true self. Our sages said that when we look upon this world with ignorance, automatically we create our own suffering. Now, how do we create our own suffering? Everyone in this world has a mind. And the mind is a very powerful factor in all our lives. Whether it's our feelings, our desires, everything is manifested from the mind. It is even said that the desire to know God is also a feeling, is a desire that is manifested in the mind. It's a bhav. So how come one feeling towards the world of wanting something in the world materialistically, which is also a feeling, becomes binding, and one feeling that we manifest towards God and wanting to know God, which is also a desire, which is also a feeling, a manifestation of the mind, becomes not binding, becomes freeing. So the question is asked that if the mind does not have the correct knowledge to interpret our emotions or interpret the experiences, then they will always be bound, there will always be suffering, and we will be bound to that suffering. Now, when we look at this world, we all know to chase our own desires is a form of suffering. William Blake said that there are only two types of tragedies in this world. One is not getting what you want, and the other is getting what you want. In both ways, you will suffer. Now, why did he say that? He said that because our sages have also said that this world is an illusion. And every feeling of satisfaction that you gain from this illusion is also an illusion. So the mind is tricking itself. The mind is looking for happiness, the mind is looking for satisfaction, the mind is looking for anand, the bliss. But it is looking for this experience in a world that itself is based on illusion. So how can an illusion satisfy